One night while standing along the water's edge, a pair of young, ambitious architects, William and Craig, watched as the lights of New York City twinkled in the distance. The dazzling silhouettes of the towering skyscrapers created an inspiring sight that sent the two men drifting into thoughts of grandeur, the skyline enticing them to make their own mark on the impressive skyline. A mark that would certainly guarantee them immortality. It seemed that their partnership was poised to do just that. Between the two of them, they had the ideal partnership. William, with his artistic prowess, would be responsible for creating innovative designs. Craig, on the other hand, was the businessman, who with a charismatic smile could land the biggest of clients. With the two joining forces, their dreams of ambition were destined to come true. In the early years of their partnership, the two appeared to have a promising future. They had already designed two prominent buildings, with even more to come. In a few short years, they were considered the rising stars of New York City's architecture scene. However, success brought with it bigger egos and bitter jealousy. The two constantly fought on design decisions. Craig was especially jealous of William's artistic talent and how others constantly pointed to that as for the reason for the firm's success. With the fighting and raging egos, the partnership began to crumble. By 1924, not even 5 years into their partnership, H. Craig Severance and William Van Alen's time as New York City's new architecture duo was no more. Their paths would cross a few short years later as a showdown would emerge between the two, the results of which would help craft the New York City skyline. Now on their own, William Van Alen and H. Craig Severance worked to find clients. Both found work rather quickly. In 1927, Van Alen was commissioned to design a 40-story tower. During the initial design process, automobile titan Walter P. Chrysler purchased the site of the tower and Van Alen's initial designs. Soon after purchasing the site, on the corner of Lexington Avenue and 42nd Street, Chrysler met with Van Alen and shared with him his vision for the skyscraper. Chrysler wasn't interested in just another office building. He wanted an iconic building that would be a testament to himself. That's not all. Van Alen's new humble client also wanted the tallest building in the world. Van Alen was happy to participate. Being the architect of the world's tallest building comes with it an aura of prestige that few commissions offered. Not lost on him was the opportunity to show up his former business partner, Severance. And with that, Van Alen was now designing the world's tallest building. With each design meeting between Van Alen and Chrysler, the design for the tower was refined. The details of the building changed to reflect the new humble owner. The tower was revolutionary in its architecture as it featured the emerging Art Deco style, which featured glittering ornamentation. Gone was the tower's original Byzantine dome, replaced by a much taller, multi-arch dome cast in stainless steel. Slowly, car motifs were added, gargoyles in the shape of radiator caps were included, and hubcaps were placed along the building's facade. In addition to the overall look, the number of floors increased. It began with 40, then it was 54, and then it was 63. Chrysler wanted taller, though, and so more floors were added. By 1929, 67 was the final total, for now. Down in Lower Manhattan, the Manhattan Company was too looking to build a new headquarters. They were planning to build in the heart of New York City's booming financial district at 40 Wall Street. During the 1920s, Lower Manhattan was the place to build skyscrapers. Some of the tallest buildings in the world resided there, the Singer Building, the Woolworth, being among the tallest. Originally, the board of the bank had no desire to join the Singer and Woolworth as among the tallest buildings. They knew that breaking records would break the bank. However, a board member suggested to go for the gold and build the tallest building in the world. The architect they chose was none other than H. Craig Severance. Being considered the businessman in his former partnership, Severance was seen as the best architect to choose to create a landmark building without a budget running over. This was Severance's moment to show everyone not only was he financially savvy, but design savvy as well. Now the race was on, and the sky was the limit. The height for Severance's Manhattan Company building was originally 809 feet tall, with 67 stories. It was rather simple, a limestone building that rose upward with grace from an imposing base. As Severance worked through his early design in 1929, newspapers unveiled the design for the Chrysler Building in mid-Manhattan, in which it was heralded as the tallest building in the world. It, too, was 67 stories and 809 feet tall. Without hesitation, Severance quickly revised his design to include a copper pyramid on top of the building, making it taller than Van Alen's tower uptown by some 48 feet. The newspapers unveiled the Severance design for 40 Wall Street with the headline proclaiming it as the tallest building in the world. As you can imagine, this did not sit well with Chrysler and Van Alen was sent back to the drawing board to plan his architectural retort to Severance. Except now, there would be no formal announcement on the updated height. From now on, all information about the tower's height was kept close to the vest. In secrecy, Chrysler and Van Alen added another 10 floors, bringing the total of floors to 77. The building's iconic stainless steel dome was revised once more to add another arch, making it taller. All the while, construction on the tower was already underway. The newspapers watched with attentive eyes as the two towers began to rise and pierce the New York City sky. Word soon got out that the official height of the Chrysler Building wasn't actually the official height. The rumors were continually denied by Chrysler, who falsely confirmed that the tower would rise no higher than 850 feet. This left their rival, Severance, constantly guessing. The aura of mystery surrounding the Chrysler Building's height caused an increasingly paranoid Severance to make several more changes to the design of the building. First, he added 5 extra stories to the top of the tower. He also attached a copper lantern on top of the tower's copper pyramid. These changes officially brought 40 Wall Street to the impressive height of 900 feet tall. Severance was confident that the title of the world's tallest building was his. That being said, out of an abundance of caution, Severance added a flagpole on top of the lantern that was on top of the copper pyramid. This brought 40 Wall Street to the final height of 927 feet tall. There was no way that Van Alen could possibly catch up to him. Newspapers around the city began proclaiming 40 Wall Street as the tallest building in the world. But the race wasn't over. Under the veil of secrecy that now surrounded the construction of the Chrysler Building, Van Alen had a final trick up his sleeve that would cement his tower as the tallest. Through secret meetings with only Van Alen and Chrysler, the two developed a plan to construct an 180-foot-tall, 27-ton spire known as the Vertex, which would be placed on top of the tower's iconic dome. The construction of the Vertex was hidden within the tower's elevator shaft. It was a complete secret. Not even the workers building it knew what it was. Then, on the morning of October 23, 1929, with a thin layer of fog in the air, the sections of the Vertex began to work its way up to the top of the tower. They swayed precariously in the wind, and Van Alen held his breath and watched from the street to ensure everything went off perfectly. Within 90 minutes, the Chrysler Building reached its final height of 1,046 feet tall. The race was over, and Van Alen had won and was now the architect of the world's tallest building. Work continued on Severance's 40 Wall Street, however. Few knew that Chrysler had truly surpassed 40 Wall Street. Once Chrysler and Van Alen were certain that their tower was taller, they made their official announcement. The news was a devastating blow to Severance. He eagerly tried to come up with some other solution to make 40 Wall Street taller, but nothing seemed to work. The race was over. When asked for a comment, Severance gave no congratulations to his rival. Instead, he tried to minimize the importance of Van Alen's victory. Severance made the argument that his building had more floors, and therefore was truly taller. However, no one agreed with Severance's point. Despite winning the race, the prize of prestige never materialized for Van Alen. In fact, the next few years would be a struggle for him. When the Chrysler Building opened, New York City's artistically conservative critics panned the building as being gimmicky for its automobile motifs and an exaggerated spire. It would, however, be embraced by the general public as an optimistic symbol for the city as the country grappled with the onset of the Great Depression. On the converse, Severance was praised for his artistic intuition for the design of his tower by the same critics. Where Van Alen's tower was gimmicky and tacky, Severance's 40 Wall Street was viewed as powerful and elegant. On top of the harsh criticism, the big clients, they never came. On top of that, it appeared that in his blind ambition to design the tallest building in the world, he never signed a contract with Chrysler. Therefore, Walter Chrysler never paid Van Alen the customary commission of $14 million. After winning the case with Chrysler, breaking the unspoken rule for architects never to sue their clients, Van Alen's career was essentially over. Van Alen would leave architecture altogether and begin teaching sculpture. He would never design another building again. As for H. Craig Severance, he didn't fare any better. After 40 Wall Street, he would go on to design the Nielsen Tower in New York. But with the Depression, work was tough to come by, and he would pass away in 1941. In the end, the race for the prestige of designing the tallest building in the world wasn't as enduring as previously thought. Just short 6 months after the Chrysler Building was crowned as the tallest building in the world, the Empire State Building would claim the top spot and hold on to it for some 40 years. Well, it turns out William and Craig weren't the perfect partners. They were the perfect rivals. They helped create the New York City skyline we know today. The dazzling crown of the Chrysler Building still reaches skyward with an optimistic glow, and the stately 40 Wall Street still exudes elegance. They remain iconic, testaments to the ambition and artistry of the men who built them. Though the title of the tallest building didn't endure, what does is their ability to entice the next generation to make their mark on the city.